The Pirate Princess is back. I am Chris with the Joshi Wrestling recap for Stardom March 26, 2022 World Climax Night 1, available on Stardom World. This was the first night of Stardom's two-night World Climax extravaganza. The World Stardom Red Belt and the Wonder Stardom White Belt are being defended both nights, but the headline is the return of Kairi to Stardom. This was a long show, so I don't want to waste too much time. This was a multi-camera show with English and Japanese commentary. We opened the show with a future Stardom title match, current champion Hanan versus challenger Rina, the Battle of the Sisters. These two went out and had a quick and hard-hitting match I enjoyed. When the bell rang, both sisters just ran at each other and started throwing forearms. Rina was on the losing end, but got a bit of revenge by pulling Hanan's hair and following that with a body slam. Both wrestlers just threw their most powerful moves and submissions while yelling at each other all match. There was a spot that caught my eye when Hanan started throwing forearms, but Rina wasn't going to do that again, so instead slapped Hanan across the face 3 times. Rina hit her finisher on Hanan, the Pink Devil, but pinned her too close to the ropes, so Hanan was able to break the pin. When they got back up, Hanan hit a raising knee, a famouser, then 2 suplexes, the second one with a bridge, and got the 3 count and retained her title. Hanan's reward is now she gets to defend the title again the next night against Mai Sakurai. The second match on the card was labeled a special Golden Generation match. It was a match between Saida and Mirai, maybe the 2 strongest members on the roster, although Maika and Himeka may argue they are stronger. This match was basic. These 2 powerhouses just went out and it's to see who was stronger. When the bell rang, they just ran at each other and locked up. This was followed by a test of strength, trading forearms and chops. Saida came out on top of these battles. She had more physical strength. An extended lariat exchange later in the match was a draw. Where Mirai had the advantage though is with technique. While Saida may be a bit stronger, Mirai's submission game is much better. When Mirai was able to get a submission on Saida, she got control of the match and negated Seida's strength advantage. That is how the match ended. Mirai was able to get her special submission, the Miramare, on Saida and rolled her into the center of the ring. Saida had nowhere to go, so tapped. Mirai wins via submission. Third match on the card was a giant trios gauntlet match. Let's go over the teams. For Queen's Quest we had Azumi, Miyu Amasaki, and Lady C. Donald Mondo was Himeka, Natsupoi, and Mai Sakurai. Odotai was represented by Fukigen Death, Seki Kashima, and Ruaka, and there was also a pseudo-cosmic angels team of Mina Shirakawa and Wakasukiyama, with Momo Kogo from Stars added to make it a trio. This was a fun way to get a lot of the wrestlers without matches on the show. Cosmic Angels and Odotai started. Mina Shirakawa and Momo Kogo were doing okay keeping their team above water during the match, but they could only last so long. Once the match turned into Wakasukiyama versus Saki Kashima, you could see where this was going. Odotai ran the ring and triple-teamed Waka, and that was followed with a suplex and the Mai emblem for Saki Kashima for the pinfall victory. Queen's Quest was next, and Odotai jumped them before they could get in the ring, and isolated Miyu Amasaki. Miyu was able to tag in Azumi after she hit her jumping DDT on Fukigen Death. Azumi proceeded to go on a run, taking on Fukigen Death and Ruaka at the same time. After hitting Azumi with rolled up papers, Saki Kashima was tagged in and almost got the win with a Kishikaise, but Azumi also has powerful pin moves and pinned Saki with a bridging O'Connor roll. Donald Del Mondo were the final team, and when they got in the ring, Azumi and Natsupoi had a mini high-speed match and an extended rolling pin spot. Lady C was tagged in and Himeka a bit later. Queen's Quest did try to help Lady C, but Himeka was just too strong. After a lariat, Himeka hit the JP coaster on Lady C and got the pinfall victory. Donald Del Mondo win the Trios Gauntlet. The next match was another chapter in the Prominence versus Julia and Donald Del Mondo feud, a tag match with Michael and Tekla versus Suzy Suzuki and Risa Serra from Prominence. Prominence has wanted to get their hands on Julia, but Donald Del Mondo have been putting themselves in front of Prominence and forcing them to go through Donald Del Mondo first. And Donald Del Mondo jumped Prominence before the bell and they started brawling outside the ring. This was a mistake though. Prominence is a hardcore wrestling stable and they quickly got the upper hand using the ring posts and floor on Tekla and Maika. Back in the ring it was a more even affair. Maika used her strength advantage with body slams and brain busters. Tekla used the ropes to her advantage while Risa Serra's knees did a lot of damage. Suzu Suzuki really stood out in this match. She used her athleticism and hard-hitting style to win the match for her team. Suzuki hit Tekla with an avalanche side slam and followed that with a German suplex with the bridge for the pinfall victory. After the bell, the teams ended up brawling to the back. Prominence and Del Mondo will fight again on the second night of World Climax, the next day. The fifth match was for the Goddess of Stardom tag titles. Current champions Hazuki and Kaguma versus challengers Starlight Kid and Momo Watanabe. Hazuki and Kaguma won the tag tournament last year and beat Shuri and Julia for the belts on January 9th. Momo Watanabe called out a tag title shot on February 23rd, but had a mystery partner. It was later revealed on the 27th her tag partner would be Starlight Kid, and that's how we got this match. This match was hard-hitting with a lot of action and great tag team chemistry from both teams. The current tag champs, Hazuki and Kaguma, had the advantage early until Starlight Kid tripped Kaguma, and the match made its way outside the ring. Odatai proceeded to throw both Hazuki and Kaguma into the ring posts, then body slammed them each on each other before the match got back in the ring. This match was more even from that point. Both teams were throwing their best shots at each other, but Momo Watanabe couldn't put Kaguma away no matter how many moves she hit on her. Hazuki came in to help Kaguma, but Odatai pulled the ref's attention and Momo hit Hazuki over the head with a chair to take care of her. Then Starlight Kid threw Kaguma a chair, and Van terminated her. Momo and Starlight Kid hit a tag team combo move, and finally Momo Watanabe hit the peach bomb on Kaguma and got the pin. Momo Watanabe and Starlight Kid are the new Goddess of Stardom tag champions. After the match, Starlight Kid followed through on her threats to embarrass Kaguma and poured water on her while Momo Watanabe poured water on the still dazed Hazuki. The Pirate Princess has returned. The next was a special tag team match and Kairi's first match in Stardom in 5 years. Kairi with Mayu Iwatani versus a team of Tam Nakano and Unagi Sayaka. Over the previous few months, there was a mysterious new signing in Stardom, and it was revealed as Kairi, who had recently finished her contract with WWE. While not a full-time member of the roster, I expect her to be at the Karoken Hall shows and larger shows for Stardom. The match started with Mei Iwatani and Tam Nakano in the ring, and it was very quick action between both of them. They know each other really well in the ring. They both tagged out after kicking each other at the same time. Unagi Sayaka was not intimidated by Kairi at first. After some forearms, Unagi slapped Kairi, and she realized that may have been a mistake. Kairi and Mayu Iwatani kept Unagi isolated for an extended period of time while they beat her up. When Tam finally tagged back in, she and Kairi had a sweet moment before they started attacking each other. The rest of the match was pretty non-stop action with high flying from both teams. Tam Nakano had to be dealt with by a top corner crossbody to the outside by Kairi, so Kairi and Mayu then focused on Unagi Sayaka. Kairi hit her insane elbow, then Mayu Iwatani got to the top corner moonsault to land, and the 3 count for the victory. After the match, Kairi and Mayu Iwatani said a few words to the audience before leaving. The semi-main event was next, Sai Kamitani versus Utami Hayashishita for the Wonder of Stardom white belt. After her last title defense, Sai Kamitani called out Utami Hayashishita and Tam Nakano as her opponents over World Climax. Utami had lost her World of Stardom red belt after a great reign, and Saya wanted to prove herself that she was worthy of being the Wonder of Stardom champion by testing herself against her friend and stablemate. Throughout the match, the competitors' different styles really came into view. Utami Hayashishita had a strategy this match, while it seemed like Sai Kamitani was doing all she could just to not lose. Utami, almost from the start of the match, fought at a deliberate pace and targeted Saya's backs with kicks, forearms, and submissions. Saya, on the other hand, had to rely on surprise drop kicks or high-risk moves to get the advantage in the match. When it looked like Utami Hayashishita had complete control of the match, Sai Kamitani would hit a Frankensteiner, top rope move, or drop kick and try to press the advantage, but Utami would just target Saya's back again and Saya would crumple. Saya was at her best when she took the match outside the ring. That is when she had the most advantage. Back in the ring, Utami Hayashishita's strategy was working well, and she tried to put Saya Kamitani away multiple times with her spinning crucifix powerbomb, but Saya would flip out or escape each time. That elusiveness is what won Saya Kamitani the match. Saya is faster and jumps higher than Utami. After Saya Kamitani escaped a crucifix powerbomb attempt, she went on a run of high-impact moves, climbed to the top corner, and hit the Phoenix Splash for the victory. And that leaves us the main event, the World of Stardom Championship match for the red belt. Current champ Shuri against challenger Julia. The quiet tension between these two stablemates has been the big story since Shuri won the red belt. Julia is the founder and leader of Donald Del Mondo, But her ego won't let her be the second banana. But Shuri is a top champ in Stardom, and as Julia's friend, knows she can't handle someone being seen as stronger than her and Donald Armando. And instead of trying to take over Julia's spot as a top dog, Shuri decided to step away and leave Donald Armando before the match. Shuri came to the ring with her new bodyguard, Ami Miura, who used to be an Actress Girls. This was a hard-hitting match from two of the toughest fighters in Stardom. There was plenty of kicks, forearms, suplexes, and the Julia staple headbutts. A lot of this match happened outside the ring, which is good for Julia. Julia is at her strongest when brawling outside the ring, and she used the ring posts, apron, and floor to her advantage. There was even a pile driver through a table. In the ring, though, is where Shuri is stronger, but she can fight dirty when forced to, and at one point hit Julia with a plexiglass divider from the announcer's table. The back portion of the match saw both wrestlers throwing their strongest moves against each other, but Shuri broke the match open after she hit Julia with 3 back fists. Shuri lifted and out on her feet Julia on her shoulders and hit her finishing move, the Suisaike, for the pinfall victory. After the bell, Shuri made it official she was leaving Donald Armando and starting her own faction. Julia told her it is hard to be a leader, and then left. There was mutual respect from both, but they also knew they can't be together if the World of Stardom title is involved. And that was night 1 of Stardom World Climax. It was a great show and I liked every match. But if you don't have 5 hours to spare, I would recommend the last 4 matches on the card. The next Stardom show is the next day on the 27th, World Climax Night 2, and will also be stuffed full of title matches headlined by Shuri defending her title again, this time against Miyu Iwatani. Although the match I am most looking forward to is Starlight Kid vs. Kairi. This has been the Joshi Wrestling Recap for Stardom March 26, 2022. Thanks for listening.